What if you could step off the conveyor belt of your life? Imagine for a moment that it's not the external demands, the endless distractions, or the repetitive routines that define you. What if there's a way to experience life fully, to live with intention and awareness rather than if on autopilot? What would it mean to wake up to yourself and to your life? I'm Mark Roach. Welcome to Transcendent, a space where I offer ideas and insights to help you explore what it means to live authentically. My path has been shaped by a multitude of experiences and perspectives, some inspiring, others deeply painful. And this platform is about a quest for clarity and truth. On today's episode, we're going to turn to the evocative ideas of Maurice Nicoll from his talk on July 22nd, 1950, a few years ago. It's captured in volume 4 of his psychological commentaries, and it's one of those rare teachings that can shift how you see the world. Nicoll, who took inspiration from his collaborations with Carl Jung, Peter Ouspensky, and George Gurdjieff, Nicoll asks one bold question at the heart of this discussion. Are we really awake? Nicoll begins by challenging a fundamental assumption about our experiences of life. He proposes that most of us are asleep, not physically, but spiritually and mentally. This sleep isn't something dramatic or obvious, it's subtle. It's kind of hypnotic, the state that we enter into and live mechanically, reacting to the world and to other people without a sense of our deeper self. The work, he calls it, it's about understanding and escaping this state, this hypnotic state. He says that to make this escape, the ideas of the work must move from your memory into an active internal process. Think of it this way. It's one thing to remember the words, man is asleep, and think they're an interesting concept, but it's another idea entirely to stop and ask yourself, am I? This kind of reflection isn't easy. It's uncomfortable, and it asks you to hold a mirror up to your life and see your life, see yourself. See everything around you in ways that, and where you're governed by routines or external influences. And without this inner reflection, Nicoll tells us the work remains a collection of just ideas stored in your memory and will not change you. One of Nicoll's most powerful contributions here is an explanation of the difference between what he calls the inner self and the external memory. The external memory holds everything that life and the senses have fed into us. It's where societal norms and habits live, where assumptions about life's meaning are formed. Now, the inner self, however, is much quieter. It's where genuine reflection happens, where your spirit connects with the insights that can change you. For Nicoll, true thinking comes from his inner self. It's not about intellect, but it's a kind of knowing that touches your essence. He links this to the esoteric idea of man's place in the ray of creation. Now, Nicoll draws here not from his own genius, but from the teachings of Gurdjieff and Ouspensky, as well as Carl Jung's exploration of archetypes and the deeper psyche. He describes humanity as being part of organic life, which he likens to a connecting film or bridge between the higher and lower states of existence. Organic life, as he explains it, transmits forces from the planetary and cosmic realms down to the earthly existence that we're encountering. However, this role traps man in what Nicoll calls a pain factory. The stresses we experience, the struggles we endure, negativity, all that stuff is part of this system. And yet, Nicoll says there's an opportunity in this role throughout all of organic life. Though it suffers, humanity has an unusual potential. We can wake up from this state. We aren't meant to remain cogs in the machine. Nicoll points to something profound. He references the biblical idea in the revealing of the sons of God, suggesting that humanity was not placed in this system without a way to escape. Hidden within us is what he calls a magnetic center, the part of us that can resonate with the higher influences. Now, this isn't automatic. It requires intentionality and effort, a willingness to think and feel deeply about the work and to question your own participation in the mechanical flow of life. At the core of Nicoll's teaching is a powerful metaphor. He speaks of a ladder of being, often symbolized by Jacob's ladder in spiritual traditions. At a certain point, he says, anyone who seeks to ascend this ladder faces what he calls a volte-face, a turning point. This point is where you stop looking externally for meaning and start to understand that growth involves looking inward. This ladder isn't a straight climb. It bends and demands that you not only absorb ideas, but transform how you live and how you think. This transformation hinges on the voluntary suffering. Now, this isn't about seeking pain. It's not about seeking hardship for its own sake. Instead, Nicoll talks about what it means to suffer consciously. When he feels unclear or challenging instead of escaping or numbing ourselves, we can use these moments to better understand our own reactions and our own limitations and imitations. Conscious suffering serves a purpose. It's a step away from the mechanical and a step toward the intentional. Nicoll's vision of the work as deeply challenging and also profoundly inspiring. He shows us that our daily lives, with all this beauty and difficulty, are part of turning ordinary moments into tools for growth. Waking up isn't something abstract. It's a choice you make repeatedly on how you approach even the simplest tasks. What strikes me most about these teachings is how they challenge us to take ownership of our inner world. When was the last time that you paused to consider what's driving your choices, your emotions, or your thoughts? Are you reacting to life, or are you truly living it? These aren't easy questions, but they're important ones. Ones that Maurice Nicoll encourages us to see that the very frustrations and routines we often resist can be the doorway to a deeper and more meaningful experience of life that leads to freedom. Well, I hope these ideas from Nicoll's 1950 commentary resonate with you. It's not about rejecting the world or achieving some perfect state of enlightenment. It's about waking up to life as it is right now and understanding that within you exists the potential for something more profound than what you currently see. I'm Mark Roach. This is Transcendent, wishing you all the best.